Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you have arrived at day 47 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2019. 47 days. Can you guys believe it? Y'all are the best, absolute best people in the whole wide world, and I thank you so much for being with me today. Today's tangle is Onamato by Zentangle. How many of you hear the Mr. Roboto song when you see this? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But this is a Zentangle Original Pattern that I have always loved because of the cool effect and the way that you can shade this so that it looks like little pearls and that kind of thing. So I love it. One thing I had never done was do it in more of a continuous sort of thing this way, and that was a lot of fun to try out and actually works really well. So let me walk this through with you. It's pretty simple. Most of you probably know this already. I'm going to, for this example, use straight lines, and once again Simba is napping across my feet as I make this video, and so if he decides to have a puppy dream or God forbid bark, we are all going to know about it immediately. Alright, Onamato starts like this with two sets of arrowed lines, parallel lines, with a little gap in between. Perfect ribbon tangle. And the first step is to draw these sort of little oblong, circular-ish, elliptical, I don't know, whatever shape you want to give these. Ovals, maybe. You could do circles, I guess. Maria Thomas, I've seen, does them longer, but really, and in the step out, they're a bit longer, but you can do them, of course, the way you wish. I think maybe the shape is a little bit different because of the little black, whoops, stay out of my light, the little black perfs that she's got. Alright, puppy dream, quit twitching. It's a good thing he's cute with floppy ears, I'm saying. So you fill your two parallel lines with these little oval-like shapes. Wow. Alright. The next step then is, okay, we're shifting. There you go. Go back to sleep, big dog. It's all gonna be okay. We'll be all done by the time you wake up. Well, I'm not sure if that helps or makes it worse. Definitely increases the shadow. Alright, we're gonna go for it like this. The next step is to fill the middle section with, again, ellipses or perfs, pearls, circles, however you want to identify them. And ideally you want these to gently touch each other and gently touch the top and bottom of the ribbon. Whoops. Ideally not like that, but it happens. And when we add the shading, you won't even notice it, I hope. Okay, so that's the next step. The final step is to put in these little black perfs Now what I'm not getting here is I'm not managing to leave the highlight, which is absolutely something you want to try to do. Now in this situation, you know, you can always bring your jelly roll through and just make a tiny little dot, but it's always best if in its purest form you've done it naturally. But sometimes that just doesn't work out, does it? All right. This is Onamato in its basic form. Now, for shading, this is a bit of fun. You know, you probably want to do your edges, and maybe not. You can, or you can leave it, or you can shade on the bottom like this. Whoops, maybe not just like that, but you know, sometimes that twitching gets out of hand. Then for the way you do this type of thing, and this is not a good example of that, but basically you want to add some graphite in a little sort of crescent moon shape right along the edge, one of the edges, and do that in approximately the same place on each one. Now if they're small, a little bit will go a long way. So that's a nice effect. Sort of lift it up off the paper. Not so sure about this edge, but that certainly will bring more emphasis to the pearls in the middle. And then for these, you want to very, very carefully and softly blend this out just a little bit, taking care to leave that tiny little sliver of white along the edge that represents supposedly the reflected light. Now if you get too much, take a small piece of kneaded eraser or the corner of eraser or whatever you got, and just lift some of the graphite back off the top. Oops. And remember, these tortillons work best when held in this fashion, if you've got a short one, that is, laying down on its side to sort of smudge that in. Let's see. That's basically it. Now some of these are going to be so small that it's hard to do this, but you will find that once you get it going like this, that the overall effect is pretty good, even if, like in this instance, I have forgotten to buff some out. And if you are not zoomed in like this, zoom out a little bit, it's a very nice effect. So this is Onamato. Yeah. Let's put it in the pattern. Let's use this one. That's a much nicer spot. Okay. So how I'm going to handle this with the inner auras is I'm going to make, whoops, there we go. Try to stay out of my light here. Okay. I'm going to make my inner auras part of this pattern. So I'm going to make this that first little double aura. And I'm not going to do a very good job on this, apparently. But we're going to do our best. So I think instead of going huge, and now that I think of it, I could put gems in here, but I think I'm going to do this layered multiple row approach. And so I think I'm going to start here and then see about where the center is after I get this side in. I think I'll get a better idea. And it could be that once I get this in, I decide I don't have enough room to do that. So let's see what we end up with. Remember to take your time. Give each stroke of the pen the focus and the care that it deserves. When you're rushing to be finished, you are losing some of your zen. I know, because I'm a terrible rusher. But it was only since slowing down that I really started to see my art develop and grow. And there may be some, including myself sometimes, or many days, that feel this isn't all that impressive. But I would remind you that I started, 3 years ago now? Just over. And I feel like I've come a long way. I know I've come a long way. So, at some point I'll show you a couple of the things I did very first thing right out of the gate, just for entertainment value. So I think I'm going to divide this right here in the center. Attempting as well as I can to follow the curve of the line for the space. And I actually think I did a fairly good job on this. I like this. Alright. Now I tend to start in the middle when I do this, as you would in, say, perk, but I don't want to scrunch my orbs in like we do in perk. I want each of them to be full size, or at least full size while they're interesting shapes. Okay. And I think I'll just start here. One thing I learned to help me not overlap the sides is to carefully start my next circle on the line and go from there, and I tend to overlap them a lot less in this fashion. Oops. When I was first starting out, I had a bad problem with circles. I still am pretty sloppy with them, where they curve over each other and don't finish up where they're supposed to. And I really had to learn to slow down in order to get that correct. Alright, now leaving my highlights. On each one of these is going to be a challenge, especially in the small spaces. This is such a pretty pattern. Some will be a bit bigger than others. Don't worry about that. It's okay. Just snug the little round shape right in there in that corner, and you're going to be all ready to go. And normally I don't leave the little highlights in the center, but because of the space here, or the lack thereof, I'm going to go ahead and do it that way, mostly so I don't mess it up. Okay. And now oops. Oops. I don't know what I'm thinking. Well, clearly I'm not clearly. All right. Okay, let's shade this baby. Put a tiny bit of shading over here by Blooming Butter. And put a little bit over here. And we'll put some over here. Now, what is that, 4 degrees of separation? I'm kidding. Kidding. Never even seen that movie. It took me a long time to figure out what I was talking about. Alright. Well, I'm just going to... okay, I'll stop. Distracted. Alright, so I'm going to start... oops. With my little crescents right here. Mostly because I'm trying to make a decision about whether to shade down the middle of this in order to pop out the orbs more, or if I want to leave it this way and let the white be in charge. And I do like it the way it is. All right, Simba. Simba, we're almost done, baby. Hang on. You can catch that squirrel in a minute. I don't know how well I did on that one. Okay. Aside from this one right here, I think we did it pretty well here. And today I came prepared with my Mono Zero. And thank you for the golf tee comment, Lawanya. I had never thought about that, and I don't watch golf, but I knew exactly what you meant when you said that. Because even if you've seen just a tiny bit of golf, I think you've seen that image. Okay. So I just want to re-emphasize that shape a tiny bit, and here's my trusty friend here. And all I'm doing is lifting a tiny bit of that graphite from the very tip of this. Oops. Well, time to get a little new life in here. There we go. And don't erase much on these. It will tear the tooth of the paper up, and you'll regret it. Sometimes it's just better off to leave it. There. Now, might do that. Although I don't know if that's going to be confusing for the shading here, but I would darken that. Or I could do that gray colored pencil along. And I may use that more for fill in as I go. But I really like this. Now, the other thing while I was playing with this yesterday, I wanted to show you really quickly. Hopefully the dog won't roll over on that. I was curious. One of the things that bugs me about this pattern, and you guys will probably laugh at this, is all of the negative space that it leaves, all of the white space around between these and the little black perfs. And I always want to fill it in with black, but if you fill it in with black, then your black perfs get obscured by the black. And then you lose that part. And so I was playing around with Renaissance colors, basically brown and black, and discovered that if you do that in a different color, then it kind of works for you. And so what I'm really wanting to do is try this all in black, but fill in with blue around the edges where the negative space is, and see how that turns out. So food for thought for you guys. I have not forgotten about the giveaway. I am trying to figure out a way to make it international, because I want everyone, and we have followers all over the world. It amazes me that we have followers all over the world, and I want the giveaway to be fair to everyone. So what I'm looking for is information on how to do that and how best that can work overseas as well as here in the United States. Even though the vast majority of people that watch are from the States, I don't want to diss my followers that are out there. I appreciate all of you, no matter where you're from. So I just wanted to let you know that I have not forgotten, and I am hoping I can get my act together with something in a couple of days for our halfway through celebration. So let's see where we can get with this in the meantime. Thank you guys so much for being with me today, and I will see you tomorrow.